Hello, and welcome to Penalty on the Podcaster, the weekly NFL predicting podcast. This week, predicting Super Bowl 57. We are finally here. This is an amazing Super Bowl against the two top seeds, two of the best teams in the league, with the exact same regular season record. And this one's got all the storylines. Andy Reid against his old team. Kelsey versus Kelsey. The first brothers to face off in a Super Bowl. The first player brothers to face off in the Super Bowl. Jim and John Harbaugh did face off in a Super Bowl as coaches. First players who are brothers to be in a Super Bowl. This one is going to be hard to decide. So, let's jump into it after a few messages. Disclaimer, this podcast is not gambling advice. It is a predicting podcast, but not gambling advice. I cannot and will not take any responsibility for money that was lost. If it was lost gambling on things said in this podcast. Also, this podcast is sponsored by Souls Auto Parts. If you need parts for your vehicle, Souls is the way to go. You can call them, email them, go to their in-person location. That will all be in the description. Reference my podcast Penalty on the Podcaster for 10% off the auto parts you need. And without further ado, let's get into Super Bowl 57. Usually I deal with injury reports, but this injury report is just a bunch of people who did participate in practice. However, the only one where the nature of the injury and the status is displayed is Britton Covey of the Eagles, who is questionable with a hamstring. The rest of them, I think they're just not fully participating in practice to just come back for the Super Bowl. Because, it's one game. They just need to win one game. Eagles, Chiefs, never count out Mahomes, but I'm sort of counting out Mahomes. This is a hard one, but I think it's the Eagles. So, my reasoning is, we know how mobile Mahomes has been and all that. However, I think the Eagles pass rushers can contain him at the very least. And even pressure him and really hurt him. Not actually hurt, but really, hurt his play. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick. Those are some great guys. And I just gotta say, at defensive line or, pass rushers, the Eagles are the deepest team by far. Fletcher Cox is backed up by Jordan Davis, third stringer Ndamukong Suh, so yeah. Javon Hargrave backed up by Linval Joseph, Josh Sweat backed up by Robert Quinn. So they're really deep at this position. We all know the 4 players with 11 or more sacks. Fletcher Cox with 7. Incredible. 70 sacks as a team. Hassan Reddick's got 16, I think. So, I know Mahomes is magic. And I know the offensive line is very good. But this is going to be really tough for them, facing 5 elite pass rushers. The best defensive line by far. And last time Mahomes was in a Super Bowl, the big thing that stopped him was the pass rush. And Ndamukong Suh getting to him nearly every play. The other pass rushers on the Buccaneers, if the rush can get home, which I'm sure it can, Mahomes is going to struggle. And they won't be able to run the ball no matter how good Pacheco is. And this also might hurt Travis Kelce because, if he's going to need to block or they need to bring another tight end into the game to block because of this. These are like 5 guys who are each worthy of being double teamed, especially Hassan Reddick. So you're going to need a blocking tight end. Are you going to have a blocking tight end like Noah Gray plus Travis Kelce? Or will it just be Travis Kelce blocking, which I think is kind of dumb because Travis Kelce's so great on the receiving side as well as blocking. Great all-around tight end. But, yeah. So, alright. So, I think the rush is really going to make things hard for the Chiefs offense. But also, the Eagles are so balanced on offense. With the Chiefs, it's mainly Mahomes. Pacheco is good, but it's mainly Mahomes. With the Eagles, they can run it again and again and again behind the number 1 offensive line in the entire league. And then if you stop that, then they'll start hitting you with the passing game with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and some designed quarterback runs by Jalen Hurts. So, it's a really tough team to defend against. But let's get into predictions. I predict that Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes will throw at least 2 touchdowns. I predict that A.J. Brown and Travis Kelce will each catch 1 touchdown at least. I predict that Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes will each throw at least 1 interception. I predict that Darius Slay and L'Jarius Sneed, if he's coming back, he had full participation in practice though, so I'm pretty sure he's coming back. I predict L'Jarius Sneed getting at least 1 interception. I predict that Isaiah Pacheco rushes for at least 1 touchdown, and I predict one of the Eagles running backs, that could be Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, or of course Miles Sanders, who they change out pretty routinely. I predict one of those guys to get at least 1 touchdown. I also like the 3 running backs thing. It's like really hard to like, one's injured. Well, you got 2 others that are pretty good. Isaiah Pacheco, though, he could be the main player on a team, kind of overshadowed by Mahomes, but I think he could develop into a great running back. Though I think we might see Jerick McKinnon in the game a lot because he is the personal protector type running back, while Isaiah Pacheco is the power running back, break the tackles. Jerick McKinnon is better at blocking, and Mahomes has him as his personal favorite running back to be the personal protector. I think he might actually get more playing time than normal because of the nature of this freakishly good Eagles pass rush that notched 70 sacks in the season. The only team with more in a season is the 85 Bears, that 46 defense where they blitzed nearly every play. They brought their entire front 7 almost every play, and so of course they're going to get sacks, but 72 sacks for the 85 Bears, 70 for the Eagles, but the Bears blitzed way more. So this is a freakish pass rush here. And so, yeah, I think the big thing is, I think that Jalen Hurts is better at dual threat. Yes, Patrick Mahomes can run, but I think he's better as a scrambler and then delivering the awesome throws. Jalen Hurts can be his own running back better than Mahomes. And he's got more rushing touchdowns than Mahomes in the season. Interesting fact, he actually has a better touchdown to pick ratio passing and a better total touchdown to total turnover ratio than Mahomes. Just an interesting thing. But I think Jalen Hurts will rush for a single touchdown. And I think that will be the deciding factor. I think the Eagles will win 28-21. The odds are Eagles by 1.5. I just checked those, but but I think that it'll be by 7. And the Chiefs' defense is good. The secondary is good. But the front 7 is like, it's good, yes. But Frank Clark has had a really quiet season. He hasn't really been the Frank Clark. Chris Jones has been doing very well, but it's Jason Kelce. He's going against an all-pro. He's an all-pro himself, but actually that will be very fun to watch, that matchup. All-pro versus all-pro. Pro Kelce versus Jones. But it's the number one offensive line in the entire league with good running backs. I think they'll be able to be very good. But the Eagles are so balanced. If you're a great run-stopping team, well, they're a great passing team. If you're a good pass-stopping team with a great secondary, they're a great running team. So, whatever a team, commits to stopping, the Eagles can do the other one, even if, there's a halftime adjustment or they shift to stopping what the Eagles are doing well at. The Eagles will adjust to be good at the other thing. The Chiefs do have a great front and secondary, but can they stop the combo of, Jalen Hurts, Ken Gainwell, Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, combo of rushing, as well as the Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, plus the running backs combo in the passing game. Yes, they have a great secondary, the Chiefs, but can they stop all those people? L'Jarius Sneed is definitely good, but I still think the Eagles are just such a good all-around team. And they will be able to put pressure on Mahomes consistently, and that's why I think the Eagles will win. Will Mahomes be okay with Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick coming in on him? No, of course he won't. No one has been okay with that. In Super Bowl 55, though, when Mahomes was confined by the Tampa Bay Rush, featuring Ndamukong Suh, which he might face this season, but that would mean Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis were out, and that's probably not happening. But Mahomes was throwing it into the ground. He was getting hit all over in Super Bowl 55, and he never found rhythm because the defense was in there. The defense was in his face. The pass rush got home every time, made him uncomfortable. He wasn't able to run one way or the other because the defense was surrounding him. And when the rush gets, the offensive line of the Chiefs is good. It's second or third in the league. But the defensive line and Hassan Reddick, he's technically not a lineman, of the Eagles is number 1 in the league. So number 1 defensive line and Hassan Reddick with 70 sacks on the year versus a good offensive line that's not the first one. I think the rush will be getting home and really disrupting Mahomes. Disrupting, that's the word. Because in the Cincinnati game, the offensive line was able to keep pressure off Mahomes. Will they be able to do that with 5 guys who should definitely be double-teamed rushing at him? This is a great 5-man combo of just the perfect defensive line. Actually, I wonder what the perfect defensive line would be. It would probably be Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, probably Nick Bosa and I don't know, Quinnen Williams maybe? Oh, that was an interesting tangent. But, yeah, this is like the best defensive line in the entire league. So Mahomes will definitely, I still think he'll be able to throw 2 touchdowns, but I don't think he'll be able to get comfortable enough to take his team to victory. And I don't think they'll be able to, I think Pacheco will, did predict Pacheco getting a touchdown, but I think that will come in short distance, coming off the edge, rather than a big run, because it will be very, very hard for them to spark a run game with these guys, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, and Hassan Reddick coming at them. So, yeah, it's just such a great line. So, I mean, I guess there you have it. This one is kind of hard. I did think a lot about this before recording this, but yeah, I really thought a lot about this before actually turning on the microphone and recording the podcast. So I think that's why I didn't spend an hour on this episode. But this one is a really hard one to choose. And it's gotta be someone. Who? Who will it be? So, yeah, I guess that's the end of the episode. For the Super Bowl, wow, this is, like, we're already there. End of the season. Make sure, check out Souls Auto Parts if you need to. That will be in the description. Also, this podcast is on Spotify and YouTube, so if you're on one platform, the other one will be in the description. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And you'll hear more of me next episode. Yes, there will be a next episode. And it's something pretty interesting, and you probably will not want to miss it. So, I mean, that's really the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed, and you'll hear more of me next episode.